What is what's metabolism, first of all? Maybe some of you know what it is. Maybe you guess what it is. I know for myself, getting into my 30s in particular, I did notice a dip in my metabolism. And then I was thinking to myself, what does that mean anyways? Because people always talk about it, especially when it comes to weight loss and energy and things like that. But metabolism is really how the body utilizes energy. And so that will probably mean a lot more for you. It's really how it burns what we consume efficiently too as well. And so there's kind of two ways to look at it is, what are indicators that you don't have the best metabolism? And so I'll go through some symptoms of like a sluggish or poor or not such a good metabolism. And let me know if any of these sort of hit you or that you felt this. So, number one, right off the bat, is fatigue. So, if you're somebody who deals with a lot of fatigue, particularly after you eat, so you, regardless of what you eat, you feel like you have to take a nap afterwards. You're really lethargic, tired. Maybe you have to take a nap. Maybe you need to reach for some coffee. For a lot of people, it could be bloating. So after you consume whatever you're consuming, you feel like you're bloated. And that's a really good indicator. The other thing is of course, weight loss. So if you have been trying to lose weight, and you're not able to efficiently lose weight or, have a consistent ability to lose weight, that's an indicator that your metabolism is off too as well. And perhaps, just increasing pounds in general has been something that you are facing as well. So there's lots of really, key things that would come up to let you know that you've got a poor metabolism. The other thing is brain fog. So if you find yourself really grasping for, thoughts, or you're very forgetful, things like that, that's an indicator that your metabolism is off. And they're very much driven by our hormones too as well. So do bear that in mind. We're going to go through some keys as to how you can really optimize metabolism, 7 in fact, and we're going to quickly go through them. So, what's the opposite of a thriving metabolism? Well, you've got really good energy. When you eat something, you rebound really good. You feel really energetic. You can continue on with your day. For myself personally, back in the day, if I would enjoy something like pizza or pasta, it would, of course, I'd be tired and lethargic. And the next day I felt like I gained 5 pounds just on a simple bowl of pasta or half a pizza that I was sharing with my husband at the time. He's still currently my husband, but that's an indicator too as well. You're resilient, and your thoughts are resilient, and you can really bounce back really quickly too as well. Weight loss is effortless. So you can eat things like pizza and pasta and whatever your favorite thing is, and you don't gain 5 pounds the next day. It's really a supercharged, amped up metabolism. That is one of the key things for myself because I love food, and I love enjoying food. I love enjoying food with wine and chocolate and all of those things. But I felt like I often had to restrict myself because, the impact on what I was eating, I always thought it was the food, I thought it was me, whatever the case may be. But in a lot of cases, it's really just our metabolism, our efficiency to burn what we are consuming. So I hope that resonates with you. And let me know in the comments how you want to feel, if it's something that you struggle with. What is the way that you want to feel when it comes to, eating the things that you love and having the efficiency within your body to enjoy them and then not feel like so guilty afterwards, right? So let's talk about, what are the 7 key tips and tricks and things that you can start incorporating today to help boost and amp up that metabolism. First one of my favorite things to do, but it's definitely something that a lot of women struggle with because they don't do it right, or they are extremely apprehensive to embark on this journey, and it is fasting, which I'm sure many of you have heard a lot about. Let me know if any of you are common fasters. I don't think, there we go. I was like, I can't see comments, but now I can. So you want to feel energized and not bloated. So that's like super key for me too as well. And there's a lot of things that could be going around bloating for sure as well, because you could certainly have digestive issues. But I think the first thing is to look at some of these steps too as well, and to see if that would really help that. A lot of the keys that I'm giving you today can certainly help with digestion too as well. And that first key is fasting. Helps a lot with digestion, energy, just improving your immune system, can reduce bloating too as well, really improves brain health, can improve sleep if you're doing it all the right ways. So let me know in the comments below if you are somebody who has fasted. Now, the thing about it is, or practices fasting, the thing about it is there is the right way to do fasting and the wrong way to do fasting. And I've done it obviously both ways. So I used to fast quite actively, and I ended up gaining weight, which is crazy. Or at least it felt like I was gaining weight. And the thing about it is at the time when I look back at it, I was definitely stressed to the max. And so when it comes to, highly ambitious, high performing women, that have a lot on your plate and you're dealing with a lot of stress, fasting's not necessarily always the right way to go when you're, at that level of stress, especially chronic stress, right? So we have to be very mindful of that. And I always encourage women to really do their research when it comes to fasting. And the thing about it is the female body. So those of you that, have a reproductive system, who get a cycle, so who are menstruating, the thing about it is we have hormones, and our hormones shift over a 28-day-ish cycle. And, regardless of where you're at in that cycle, it's going to, your needs are really going to shift and change. So it's really important for you to understand how your cycle works so that you are fasting in accordance to your cycle. And that is so key. So I would fast every single day, regardless of the day. And there would be some days I struggled and I couldn't get past maybe that 14 or 16 day threshold. And then I couldn't sleep at night. And like I said, I ended up gaining weight versus losing weight, which is really not a good thing. And really approaching your fasting shouldn't necessarily always be from a weight loss perspective. There are so many other benefits to it. Digestion, like I said, your brain health, those sorts of things are really, really important. It actually helps to regenerate your cells, which is super, super cool. So there's two ways of doing fasting. There is, in my program, we do two ways. And so my Rebalance by Julie program, we do time restricted fasting, which isn't really, it's fasting in the sense that you are allowing about 12 to 14 hours between your last meal and your first meal the following day. And so you may still be eating 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's just meaning that you're elongating that time and you're giving yourself a break from eating. So really beneficial for digestion right then and there. And I find that's probably the most approachable way for women to fast initially. That's actually what I encourage them to do. The thing about it is if you have been a woman who has dieted on and off diets your entire life or most of your adult life, your body sometimes actually needs more calories first to sort of balance out your metabolism before you even go into fasting. So time restricted eating is actually a really great way to do it because we all naturally fast as it is. The second way is caloric restriction. So that is ultimately restricting your caloric intake. So that is more than likely you are more than likely not eating breakfast, which is what I do most times out of my diet. Now it changes again, but my longer fast, I would skip breakfast, but then I certainly will make sure that my calories are balanced out throughout the day. So those are sort of the two ways. There's lots of different fasts that you can do. All of them have a lot of different benefits. Let me know in the comments though if you'd like me to do a Facebook Live on fasting and how to adequately fast. Let me know. Okay, tip number 2 is protein. We have to make sure that we're getting adequate protein because protein fuels muscle. And building muscle is important for women in general, just from a health perspective. But the more muscle you have, the faster your metabolism is. And that's super, super key. So don't be scared about eating too much protein because most women that I work with, I'll just let you know, pretty much every client that I work with does not eat enough protein. I actually realized a few months ago I wasn't eating enough because I track it a little bit just to see where I'm at, and I don't eat enough. Most women need about 90 grams of protein per day. That's going to surprise you, especially if you start to measure it and see where that's at. So great sources of protein. I'd love for you to pop in the comments what those are for you. But some of my favorites, of course, I love grass-fed meat. If you're a meat eater, shrimp is a really great shrimp, and sustainably raised shrimp, of course, and salmon is great if you can eat fish. Eggs are a great source of protein. Obviously, nuts and seeds and things like that are really great sources as well. Looks like we want to hear more about fasting, so I will definitely put that on the list. I love talking about fasting and the proper ways to fast, so I'll help you with that. Okay, first was fasting, second is protein, third, I had to write this down, is enough calories. Consuming enough calories. I just posted a post on my Instagram page this week, or my stories, about a client that I'm currently working with, and she posted, I asked her what sort of, her wins of the week basically were, and she says that she was shocked at how much more she's eating and the fact that she's actually losing weight as a result of it. And it's because most women, when they are trying to lose weight, restrict what they eat. Now, I will say that you do have to make a bit more, you do have to, be in a caloric deficit to a certain degree to lose weight, of course. However, it's the quality of the calories that matter. And somebody like myself, you would be surprised to know, that needs to eat about 1,800 to 2,000 calories per day. That probably sounds like a lot for you to hear, and it was for me even as well. So it's actually surprisingly hard to reach that caloric intake, just so you know. But it is definitely something that is going to help balance out your hormones. And by hormones, I mean those like fat storage or fat burning hormones, right? Balance out insulin so that you're not craving all the things, and that you're not storing fat versus burning fat. That's really important. But what a lot of women do when they want to lose weight is that they reduce their caloric intake. They may go on juice cleanses. They will definitely more than likely burn fat, but they're also more than likely going to be burning muscle. So when we know that muscle helps to produce or improve metabolism, that's really not going to help us in the end run. So what happens when you do that juice cleanse for 3 days, 5 days, whatever it may be, you lose all that weight, and then you gain it all back anyways. That's the reality, because you more than likely shift and go back to the habits that you had before, versus obviously building a plan that is going to be a little bit more realistic to your lifestyle and more than likely more calories than what you actually need. It's quite shocking when I work with women and I tell them, sort of based on what their energetic needs are, how much they actually should be eating. So that's kind of a cool thing. But certainly don't undercut what you need to consume. The fourth one is about being fat adapted. So this is not to be confused with a ketogenic diet, which is generally a higher fat, lower carbohydrate diet where you are becoming more fat adapted. Now, not saying that a keto diet is not beneficial. I definitely have a component of a variation that I personally do follow, but it is obviously embedded with carbohydrates, which are essential. But what is important for women is that they need to increase their fats and increase their protein so that they can balance out that blood sugar too as well. And then you're cycling in carbohydrates based on your menstrual cycle. Because what happens is, just for an example, is in the first half of your cycle, you will find, if you track your cycle, let me know in the comments if you track your cycle. Awesome. So if you track your cycle, the first half of your cycle, you're going to feel very energized. You're going to be thriving with leaner cuts of meat. You're more than likely going to be leaning on a lower carbohydrate diet just because you feel really good. Your energy is really high. That's what typically happens in the first half of your cycle. So like, day 2, day 3 of, your period, till halfway through your cycle, you will feel pretty amazing. But when you get into that second half of your cycle, things start to slow down and you will find you're going to crave all the things. You're more than likely going to want to crave carbohydrates. In a lot of cases, it gets masked by sugar, but really your metabolic needs during that second half of your cycle requires you to have more carbohydrates in your diet simply because your body's going through this process and it requires more caloric needs and it will require more carbohydrates. So that's why if you were fasting and you were fasting every single day for 16, 18 hours or longer throughout the whole 28-day cycle or however long your cycle is, you're going to have problems later down the road. You could start losing your hair. You're going to find that you don't have the energy you wanted to. You're also going to find that you may gain weight. You may find that you're not sleeping well. Like so many problematic things that could happen because of that if you are not paying attention to when you're cycling in those carbohydrates. So really important to pay attention to that. So your first half of your cycle, you can go low carb. Second half of your cycle, you're going to want to amp up the carbohydrates. And it helps, really, shockingly, will help you with triggering that metabolism. It's pretty fun, actually. So that goes with part 5, which is, carb cycling. So cycling in those carbs helps to boost your metabolism, less restrictive of an approach in that later half of that cycle. 6, let's talk about exercise. Exercise is key, of course, for metabolism. We know we need to move. Really important too as well. I will tell you there's about 3 key exercises that I want women to focus on, especially if you are trying to lose weight, you're trying to balance out your hormones, you're trying to boost your metabolism, which is derived by your hormones too as well. And those are 3 things: HIIT, high intensity interval training, weights, and what's the other one I was going to say? I totally lost it, but it's around the same realm too as well. It's basically weights and using your body weight and things like that. It's really important that we are trying to build muscle. The reality is, ladies, is that you cannot build muscle like a man because you simply do not have the testosterone that men do. So if you're worried about building crazy ass muscle, unless you really want to, then you would, there's some other things that you could do for that. But the reality is we need to build muscle in order to have an amped up metabolism. And it's going to help for so many other things too as well, of course, right? Our immune system, cardiovascular health, all of those things. So, I think what I meant to say, weights, weight training, high intensity interval training are really, really key. Short bouts of training, high impact, but they don't have to be long, 40 minutes max. You can even do less than that depending on your day. And really try and focus on, working walking throughout the day, getting natural light, not sitting at your desk all day. That's really key too as well. Resistance training. That was the other one I was trying to remember. I knew they all sounded similar. So resistance training is another one too as well. So let me know if you have any questions about workouts. We are on to the seventh and final. And then I will recap them a little bit for yourself too as well, so you can sort of take notes and focus on one or a few of these tips too as well. Seventh is supplementing. It is, I think, a very overlooked key because, quite frankly, our quality of food is no longer the same. So we have to top up. I wish I could say that we can get all our nutrients from food, but we do have to top up. And if you're a high performing woman who deals with a lot of stress and a lot of chaos and all of those things, stress will deplete your body of vital vitamins and minerals just as it is. Stress will leach your body of those things. So it's really important that we are supplementing. Now, that's not to be a band-aid of an underlying problem. If you're not managing your stress, then obviously supplementing is not going to help. I know that for a fact. But I will give you one supplement that is key for women, and that is magnesium. Not only is it the calming mineral, and most women are deficient in it. I take it religiously, and it impacts my health so much. It's a calming supplement. It's going to help you to sleep. It's great for your heart, but it actually helps with metabolizing carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. That's really essential. The thing about it is if you're not sleeping adequately, 6 hours of sleep or less, and obviously we want to, even if you're sleeping 8 hours, you may not have healthy sleep, right? It's the fact that if we are not sleeping well, naturally our insulin levels are going to skyrocket. When you're tired and fatigued the next day, you're not necessarily reaching for the health foods. You're reaching for the quick and easy and the convenience food, more than likely sugar and carbohydrates that are going to help to boost our energy, but for a very short window of time. So it's not really sustainable either. So that's why sleep is so important, and that's why magnesium is really, really key in trying to help calm the body down, help you sleep, help metabolize proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. So let's recap. Okay, first one is fasting. So I always recommend women to go with a time restricted eating window. So, stop your last meal at 8 p.m. and then wait 12 to 14 hours the next day before you have your second or your first meal the next day. So that could be 8 o'clock in the morning, ideally later. I would say 10 a.m. is a really great time, and then continue on. The second one is don't overlook protein. Get 90 grams of protein per day, more if you need it. I thrive with higher amounts of protein personally. Third one is getting enough calories. Really understand what your caloric needs are during the day, and really track it. It's really important. You'd be surprised how much more you really need to eat in order to thrive. 4 is being fat adapted. And what that means is really just increasing your fats, looking at those proteins, and looking at the right combinations of carbohydrates, which should ideally come from vegetables. Best source of carbohydrates right there, because they're loaded with vitamins and minerals, of course, but they're also loaded with fiber, which is key for metabolism as well. 5 is carb cycling. That means don't go low carb every single day. Save your carbohydrates and cycle in those carbohydrates for the second half of your cycle when your body actually needs it and will tell you it needs it, because your cravings are going to increase. And if you're looking at those complex carbohydrates, the high quality ones, then you're going to be in really good shape. Helps to boost that metabolism around that time too as well. 6 is exercise. We know we need to exercise, but what are the key ones? Resistance training, weight training, and high intensity interval training is like super key. And then we want to make sure that we're supplementing adequately. So I have a program called Rebalance by Julie. It's a 90-day weight loss program. And when you join, I do a supplement protocol specific to you and your needs. So it is a a program that is definitely beneficial for any woman who is trying to increase her energy, obviously boost metabolism, but ultimately for high performing, ambitious women who want to lose weight, who are just really not sure on the best way to do it. And in that, you do get a protocol for supplementing. What I'll do is I'm going to pop the page in for Rebalance by Julie. We are enrolling clients for May 2nd, so it is coming up. I want to add that in here so you can see it. So Rebalance by Julie, my 90-day weight loss program, and it's starting May 2nd. So I enroll every month for sure, but anybody who enrolls with me and actually books a discovery call, I should say. So I meet with every woman who's interested in my programs because I want to make sure it's the right fit for you as well as for myself. Obviously, you know, we want to work with women who are ready to make change, and who are just struggling to find the right framework that's really going to work for them and their unique situation. Usually deal with women who have a lot on the go or dealing with a lot of stress and are just frustrated with, you know, their progress. So I meet with women first of all before enrolling, so I don't really send out enrollment details. But if you do book with me in the next week, because we are enrolling for May 2nd, so you only have about a week and a few days to book that call with me. I encourage you to do it just so you can understand what the program is. And anybody that currently for this month is booking a discovery call with me, they get $75 off the program. So it's kind of a bonus. The price is actually going to be going up in the following enrollment, just because I've added a lot of things on there, and I do give a lot of one-on-one support. So you're gonna get a lot of help over a 90-day period. So it's a really cool program and lots of touch points. You get tons of support, and it's pretty, I say, life-changing, especially when it comes to our health nowadays, so important, but certainly our weight, if that's really important to you. I'm all about improving women's confidence 100%. It's such a key component to my practice. I want women to feel unrestricted with food. That's it. I want food freedom for women because you should enjoy all the things you love. For me, it's chocolate and wine and pizza, all those things. Anyways, I wanted to say thank you. Looks like we're going to talk about fasting in the future. So if you have any other topics or questions that you have, please pop them in the comments. I would love any ideas on how I could support you and any questions that you have that I can answer, and I can pop on afterwards and answer those questions for you. All right, see you soon.